Hello, lovers of Black true crime. Let me welcome you to the Noir Nation. If I asked you to name me three Black serial killers, could you do it? What about a Black person that's pulled off a heist of epic proportions? Don't worry, I couldn't either. But being a lover of true crime and all things Black, I decided to combine these two passions into a true crime podcast exploring some of the most intriguing and lesser known criminal masterminds with a melanated leading cast. Each week, I will bring you the stories of some of the most prolific criminals you've never heard of. I'm your host, Renee Davis, and this is the Melanin Mayhem Podcast. Hey, New One Nation. Welcome back to another episode of Mayhem Melanin Style. My word, do I have a good one for you this week, honey. They say if you gonna do something, do it well. Do it to the best of your ability. Be the best at whatever your thing is. Well, this week's Melanin Mayhem Maker took that shit to heart. I figured we'd switch things up a bit. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a break from all the killing and the raping and shit. And we're gonna go with something a little bit more white collarish. A good old fashioned fraudulent embezzlement scam. Y'all know. Over here, we deal with prolific criminals, so we ain't talking about somebody out here selling fake items or bootleg shit. I'm talking about scamming the federal government out of $6.8 million, baby. Like I said, if you gonna do it, then do that shit. We ain't robbing stagecoaches. Come on, Queen Latifah. Y'all remember that from Set It Off. We talking about big money licks. Y'all remember COVID? All that PPP money that was floating around? Yeah, our Melanin Mayhem Maker made some good coin off some fraudulent applications. This week's Melanin Mayhem Maker is Miss Paradise Williams. Now, let me tell you the story of how Paradise and her crew almost got away with it. Paradise Shadria Williams is her legal, and she's an Aquarius born February 5th, 1994. Now, I think her parents are named George and Sandra Williams. I'm not 100% sure that that's her parents' names. However, she has a tattoo on her chest above her heart with the name George and Sandra. Why else would she have that there on her chest if they weren't her parents? I'm going to bet the farm on it, and I'm going to go with those are her parents. Now, Paradise was living in King County, Washington. Population 2.2 million at the time of the pandemic. Not much background on Paradise prior to the scam coming to light, but it appears that she was living a regular life, doing regular shit. Well, maybe not regular shit, because in the indictment, they said she had over 19 failure to appears in Washington state alone. Couple that with, quote, being arrested over 20 times in multiple states for repeated and increasingly sophisticated fraud and theft offenses, end quote. Baby, that would be small potatoes though when that pandemic hit. Like most Americans, COVID had us all stuck in the house, bored as fuck, trying to find new hobbies to fill our time. I know I was in here baking bread. I learned how to sew. Man, I was doing everything. I started a garden. I got jigsaw puzzles. You name it, I was trying to do it. Something to fill the time. Well, Paradise used that time to cook up a scheme that's going to net her more than $2.2 million. And I'm going to tell you how she did it. So when the pandemic hit, the government started with four main programs to help Americans financially. Y'all, I'm going to give y'all a little bit of background just in case you forgot. They were the Paycheck Protection Program, also known as the PPP, administered by the Small Business Association, that gave forgivable loans to small business owners to help them keep their employees on the payroll and help cover business expenses. And to get it, a business just had to be operating in February of 2020, fill out our online application, throw in what your payroll expenses, operating expenses were, fill out an attestation that says everything I'm putting in this application is true, and boom, you could get a bag. and a sole proprietor could get up to $20,833. That's a nice bag. Then there was the Economic Injury Disaster Program, or the EIDL, that also came through the SBA, and they gave loans of up to $2 million to eligible small businesses that were experiencing any financial disruptions due to the COVID virus, right? A business could get an advance payment, however, of $10,000 in 3 days, like quick, fast, and a hurry, and that $10,000 didn't have to be paid back. Any remaining loan amount that was deposited at a later time, of course, you had to pay that part back, right? And just like the other one, applicants would fill out an application online that included its operations, its revenues, cost of goods sold, and all of that for like the previous 12 months, and as well an attestation saying everything I'm putting in this application is true, and boom, you could get a bag. Then there was the CARES Act, also called the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Program, or the Unemployment Benefit Program, right? This was a federally funded benefit that was administered by the states. If a person was laid off for COVID for any reason, they could qualify for unemployment. Basically, no questions asked. You just fill out an application online, answer a few questions, click yes on that declarations page that says that you're telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and boom, you got an unemployment check. And then the final one was the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, or the ERAP. Now, this one came through the Department of Treasury, and again, run by the states, and it was for people who were facing eviction or their utilities being cut off due to financial hardships for COVID. And to qualify, you had to be low income. COVID had to have fucked you up, and you were either facing eviction, about to be evicted, just got evicted, homeless, or anything like that. And you could get up to 12 months of total assistance. They would give you up to 9 months in back rent and then pay 3 months in advance. And all it had to do was either the renter or the landlord filled out the online application. You include what that monthly rental amount was, how much money was owed in back rent, another attestation saying, hey, everything I'm putting in this application is true. Your landlord shows whatever information they need, and then boom, the landlord gets a check for your back rent, right? We all know somebody that applied for a PPP loan and got it, that didn't have a business or anything like that, right? They hit a lick for a few bands, usually around the $10,000 to $20,000, for the lightweights, or double and triple that if they were some pros at it. And when they saw that it worked for them, what they do? They went and told all their friends and family who weren't scared to get down with it too. Now, fresh out of the joint from doing a 93-day bid at the county jail, Paradise got right to work. Now, if you remember, like I said, everywhere you look, they were talking about the COVID relief programs, right? And so Paradise had to have been trying to figure out what her next come up was going to be when a light bulb came on. Paradise must have filled out an application on a humbug, and the shit got approved. Baby, once she realized it worked, she came up with a master plan to run that shit till the wheels fell off. But she couldn't do it alone to capitalize on it the way she wanted to. She needed a crew. So enter Tavon Peterson, 32 years old, Tia Robinson, 28 years old, Jahari Cunningham, 45 years old, Darius Jackson, 37 years old, and David Martinez, 32 years old. These 5 people are a mix of family and close friends that would become Paradise's lieutenants in her army of fraudsters across 4 states: California, Nevada, South Carolina, and Washington. Now, they would use their own identities and numerous aliases, and the identities of anybody else that they could convince to come on board with the scheme to submit multiple fraudulent applications to the various programs, right? And they weren't just hitting it one at a time. Oh, no, no, no. They were giving them the combo meal. Like, you could get you a PPP under a fake business, get you a rental assistance as both the landlord and the tenant, and get you an unemployment check to top it off with a cherry. Paradise fills out all the applications, right? And when you get your check, you give her a kickback. So in addition to the applications that Paradise did for herself, she had a steady bag coming in every time one of the people got a bag too. Paradise would create all the paperwork needed to qualify for the loan and the grants, like the lease agreements, the eviction notices, the bank statements. Every packet she created came with an email address and a Google Voice phone number that was used so that when the applications were being processed for verification, they had a phone number to call, they had an email address to send the shit to. Old Paradise had a spreadsheet full of data to keep up with, honey. These checks would drop and the recipients would withdraw the cash and boom, the money is laundered and could be spent on anything they want. So around April 4th, 2020 till about February 11th, 2022, this scheme was on and popping, baby. She got with her lieutenants and she devised a plan to take this thing on the road because if everybody could bring in more people, then they each could get their own check as well as a kickback from everybody they brought in that got a check. So this was like some shady ass pyramid scheme, except they weren't selling MLM, multi-level marketing. This was more like MLF, multi-level fraud. Paradise would fill out the applications for the PPP, the EIDL, the CARES Act, and the unemployment, and she would need two people, though, for the rental program because one of them had to be the landlord and one of them had to be the tenant that was about to be evicted. And once the applications were submitted, all she had to do was sit back and wait on the email that said the application was approved. Because remember, she provided them with the emails and the phone numbers, so she had access to all that shit. She didn't need them to tell them nothing. You ain't got to tell me if you got approved or how much it was for, honey, because I already seen it. And then all she had to do was hit their ass upside the head for her cut. Now, it's crazy because she really was hitting their ass upside the head. Like in one text message that I found in the background, this heifer sound like a straight up pimp. Now it's September 27th of 2021 and Paradise and the dude Martinez is texting back and forth, right? And so Paradise hit him with this. She says, I just gave this place your phone number. You're my landlord. Laugh out loud. I'm behind 6 months. Now I'm gonna give you $3,000. Laugh out loud. And she sends the address for somewhere in Seattle, Washington, and she says that the rent on this place is $2,200. So Martinez says, and next month coming up, and it's the 5th, so it's really 7 months you owe. And so Paradise is like, yeah, and they pay 3 months ahead. So Martinez is like, shit, that's 10 months. And Paradise is like, yeah, okay, he can add. And so then he doing some math in his head, and he like, wait, that's $22,000. I need a minimum $5,000. Paradise come back with the laugh out loud, I got you, free bands. Baby, let me tell you something. It's pimpering. $20,000, $22,000. And the dude is only negotiating for 5 stacks? Like, are you kidding me? I ain't mad at Paradise though, cause she working their ass. Sometimes she would even make them give her half. And I guess it ain't that big of a deal, That's big pimping. I don't know what else to call it, but free bands is free bands, right? So about a week later, after this little text back and forth, on October 4th, 2021, old dude Martinez's bank account get a check direct deposited for $21,450 in rental assistance funds for a fake tenant named Laura Johnson that lived at that fake address. Ooh, honey, between August 27th, 2021 and February 11th, 2022, I'm talking about a 5.5 month period, Paradise submitted 78 rental payment applications for a total of $2.8 million and collected $2.7 million. Paradise by herself got more than $740,000 just posing as a landlord on 21 applications all by herself that didn't have to be split out with nobody. Then her lieutenants fucked around and got another $708,000 in rental payments, but of course they had to split out with the people who were posing on the other side, as well as for Paradise for hooking up all of the documents. In June of 2020 is when Paradise started with them EIDL, that fraud with the SBA loans. She submitted 35 applications for a total of $3.7 million. However, only 2 of those applications got approved, and that was only for $300,000. But $300,000 ain't nothing to shake a stick at, honey. In total, y'all, do y'all know she submitted more than 125 fraudulent applications? Like, ma'am was booked and busy. And apparently she wasn't quiet about it because she would get texts from people that she didn't know inquiring about how they could get down with the program. And baby, she was hooking their ass up too. And what's crazy, other than the audacity, is that Paradise repeatedly used the same 4 email accounts on multiple applications. And the applications didn't really vary from business to business with regard to the business information. Like you would use one email for all the rental assistance applications. You would use a varying 2 and 3 emails for the EIDLs. Like you were still using the same emails over and over again. She could have made hundreds of fake email addresses, but she apparently didn't feel like putting that much effort in. I guess she felt like the government wasn't really going to be looking into this, right? We'll see how that works out for her. And as far as his business information on these applications, y'all, they were all sole proprietors, either running a nail salon or a hair business, whether it's a salon stores or weaves, right? And she put zero effort into the business names. Like she would use the applicant's first name and LLC as the business name. Like the dude, Jahari Cunningham, he had a business name of Jahari LLC. Ma'am, stop it. Can you please make them work for it? That's just a little too easy. Then she kept using the same numbers on the applications. Everybody grossed about $1.3 million. She'd change a few digits, but it was always an average of 1.3. The cost of goods sold was always $50,000. And everybody who put in for a PPP had a food delivery service that started January 1st of 2020. Like, ma'am, can you make them people work for all of this information? Don't make it so easy on them. And on top of all of this now is the money laundering. Because you got to remember, every time a check was deposited, it had to be withdrawn to get that cash. And so we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars of withdrawals, anywhere between 1,000 and 20,000 multiple times a month. All of this is fraud, y'all. Using the same names over and over again for various loans. Like, ma'am, have you ever heard of cross-referencing? She really made this too easy for them to be able to connect all the dots. But nevertheless, Paradise and her squad ended up getting more than $3.3 million altogether, with Paradise personally pocketing well in excess of $1.5 million, baby. But while she was in the thick of it, Mama was making it do what it do, and Miss Thang was living the best of the best life, hunty. Do you hear me? I took a scroll through her Instagram page, and woo child, I am not mad at sis, honey, because she was on some real stunt on they ass type of time. Mama was spending money on luxury cars, plastic surgery, designer clothes and shoes, lavish vacations, nothing but 5-star all the way, darling. Jewelry, Mama was iced out, and she had to live in these luxury apartments in Washington and Arizona. She was a 5-star princess all the way. Ma'am spent $31,343.12 on a 2017 Lexus ES sedan in November of 2021, and then she dropped $60,000 on a 2018 Range Rover Sport February 18th, 2022. All cash purchases, baby. Ma'am dropped $90,000 on 2 vehicles. Cash money, big bills, all 100s, honey. Then there were the vacations. I'm just going to run a few of them down because, again, I'm just scrolling through her Instagram. Honey, she would do Miami, baby. 2021, she's rolling through the streets of South Beach in a Lamborghini. Y'all ain't ready. Then she crisscrossed over to Colombia. I'm talking about the country, honey, in February of 2022, looking like Frosty the Snow Woman with all these iced out chains and ice on her rings, and fingernails looked like they had diamonds in them too, y'all. She loved Vegas. This bitch even went to Romania in 2022. Like, ma'am, I'm not mad. I like the fact. I love that for you, that you really got out and used your passport. Like, Romania. I love it. Then she was in Puerto Vallarta chartering yachts and shit. Baby, mommy is dripped. Y'all, if you get a chance, go to her Instagram page. Ma'am is dripped in doing it. Every picture, she is head to toe designer. Hair always laid. I'm talking about mama was slaying for the gods. Even going to Dubai in September of 2022, staying at a five-star hotel where the suite set you back like $2,300 a night. And while in Dubai, she had to still stun on their asses, making a stop at the Dubai Zoo where she took some hella cute pictures with lions and tigers and monkeys and shit. Y'all, I'm telling you, if you get a chance, go look at her Instagram. It's paradise_Dior. But anyway, moving on. She is lavish birthday trips and just out and about, all crisscrossing all over the world, honey. Ma'am is doing it. But I'm going to tell you this. You can take the girl out the streets, but you cannot, I repeat, you cannot take the streets out the girl. And this was such a true statement because even though Paradise is making bank, she is still doing criminal bullshit that she really don't need to be doing no more. Like on July 17th of 2021. I don't know if this was before or after she was in Miami rolling around in the Lambo. The Bellevue, Washington police arrested her for shoplifting more than $600 worth of shit from a store. Now, ma'am, you was out here white collar frauding at such a high level. And then you also penny in and shoplifting and boosting like, oh, Lord. Please, somebody. Now, in March of 2022, the FBI executed a search warrant on Paradise's house in Kent, Washington. They grabbed up her laptops, her cell phones, and anything else electronic that she had up in there. And when they interviewed her, they made sure that she understood that she was under investigation. And what she do? Kept that shit going. Only now she skips town because it's gotten a little too hot in Washington and it's time to find some greener pastures, Paradise got a passport. We know that she's been in and out the country. So what does she do? She flee the country? She getting the hell on up out of here because it's getting too hot? Nope. She heads to Arizona, even though she still found time to go to Romania and Vegas. I'm just saying. But you would also think that she would lay low, right? Let that heat die down. Nope. Not our girl Paradise. She is still with that booster shit mentality and gets caught up with the law enforcement in Arizona. Now, she ain't just penny any, I guess, because they say she was the leader of a theft ring that resulted in a loss of more than $150,000 of a single department store, honey. They say that they would go in and steal expensive designer purses and shit. But ma'am, it's 2022. These stores have cameras, and they got your ass on film. They got your license plate. They see you driving away. Oh, dear. April 11th of 2023, Scottsdale, Arizona police is like, we is not with this theft ring bullshit, and they arrest Paradise in connection to the retail fraud scheme. And after reading her rights, Paradise denied that shit like Peter did Jesus. They asked her about her criminal activities in Washington, and she was like, I never had to do any jail time because Washington was so very lenient. That's a very lenient state. And it was starting to seem to her like Arizona wasn't going to be so lenient. And so she told them she didn't want to do no more talking. She wanted to get her a lawyer. Finally, that's like the smartest thing that she could have said. Now, she does get out, but it won't be for long. But it was long enough for her to take a trip to LA just as soon as she got free of custody. But baby, on June 5th, 2023, Paradise Williams was arrested in Phoenix, Arizona. Now, apparently, Paradise has a lot in common with Trump because, again, they had already told her prior to this that there was a federal investigation into fraud and that they had at least tried to get her to come in and holler at them 19 times. Come on in here and talk to us. Come talk to us. I ain't talking to y'all, which I really can't blame it because you want some bullshit, but still, they own you. We want you to come down here and talk to us. You're refusing to talk. And even though she knew that they were on her like a junkie, she just could not stop. So even though she's not doing the little penny any bullshit theft, she's still doing her white collar crime activities, even though the heat is on her. So guess what they do? United States Attorney Nicholas Brown files a motion to have Paradise arrested and remanded into custody without bail because this bitch is a flight risk. They said she was skilled at masking her identity and creating and using fake names. This bitch had 2 social security numbers and at least 6 aliases. Yeah, ma'am, you a whole flight risk. Paradise told them, I run a profitable hair salon in Federal Way, Washington. You should look me up. And they did that. Because, baby, when they looked you up, your phone was off. And the building was vacant. They found out that she had dropped $27,000 to pay the rent up for a year, but then they went back and ran back the footage from security cameras in the area, and it showed that nobody ever went in the building and that the building was never open. Ugh. Strike. Try again, mama. So now they got her with leading an extravagant lifestyle with no known source of legitimate income. Oh, it's not looking good for Paradise, right? Well, maybe all is not lost because after they seized everything that they could, the cars and the jewelry and shit, there was still in excess of $1 million that was not to be found, not located anywhere, and is still unaccounted for. Could Paradise have been smart and hid her stash away for a rainy day? Good Lord, I hope so. Because, baby, let me tell you something. If I hit a lick like she hit a lick, I promise you, there is a hole dug somewhere in a remote part of the country where I got bags and bags of cash, waterproof bags, of course, triple and quadruple bag that I'm burying. And when this rainy day is over and my ass get out of prison, I'll be able to start over. I'm gonna work at goddamn Chick-fil-A for $12 an hour so I can pay my restitution back. I'm gonna give y'all $72.50 every 2 weeks. But baby, mother is going to live. That would be if, I was into that type of stuff. But y'all know I don't lead that criminality life because I like a good old orthopedic mattress, baby. I can't be sleeping on no little piece of foam. Not the way my back's set up. But anywho, back to the story. Now, they would eventually charge her with 19 counts of wire fraud and 2 counts of money laundering. Now, these crimes carry a maximum sentence of up to 27 years. And they got her phone. It's full of text messages clearly discussing the fraud, like the who, the what, the when, the where, and the how. They got her in these text messages saying, bitch, better have my money. Come on, Rihanna, give me my money, run me my cut. And the bank statement showing buku deposits. Like, ma'am, the evidence is stacking up. They got your computers with all of these fake documents that you done created, these bank statements, these check stubs, these eviction notices, all of these things that you created on your computer. They got all that shit. Yeah, Paradise, it might not be a good idea to try to crank up the jury on this one. And I guess she figured that out because Paradise made a deal with the feds to plead guilty to 2 counts and they would drop the rest of the counts. All of this went down December 11th of 2023. Just last Christmas, y'all. The remaining counts they dismissed against her, and she was set for sentencing on March 4th of 2024 of this year. Now, what kind of sentence did they give her? Because, she was facing a maximum of 27 years, girl. You done stole a lot of money. Baby, her sentence was 5 do 3. Now, I'm going to just say, for $2.3 million, I think I can do 5 years. I mean, bad back and all. I think I might be able to make it work. I'm just saying. Now, she is currently serving her bid at the Federal Correctional Institution in Waseca, Minnesota, with a release date of September 7th of 2027. So she's been in for just a hair under a year, and she will be out in just a little more than 3 years. Now, she's been ordered to pay restitution of $3.3 million to the Department of Treasury and the Small Business Association. But I thought it was an interesting fact that I found. They said, now I don't know how true this is, but at the time of this reporting, that the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, that $2.8 million that they stole, that is known to be the largest theft to date that has been stolen from that program. So look at old Paradise out here setting records and shit for criminalistic activities. I told y'all we deal with prolific motherfuckers around here. And this is definitely a prolific criminal scamming and boosting that you ain't never heard of. But this shit just happened. Like, I didn't hear about this last Christmas. Did you? Well, if you didn't, you know about it now. 'Cause baby, Miss Paradise Williams is our prolific Melanin Mayhem Maker of the Week. Oh my goodness, y'all. I hope that you found the podcast informative and interesting. I try to entertain y'all as well as drop a little knowledge. And if you did, like what you heard, how about you drop me a review and tell me all about it? And then what I need you to do is I need you to go tell a friend and tell your neighbor and tell your coworkers and tell your mama and the rest of the family to come join me over here at the New Nation, right? Melanin Mayhem is where it's at, y'all. We also want to hear from y'all. So you can find me on the socials. Facebook, Instagram, X. We're at the Melanin Mayhem Podcast or the Melanin Mayhem PC or Melanin Mayhem Pod. If you put Melanin Mayhem, it should go ahead and pop up for you. And also, if you know of a melanated baddie from your area that did some prolific shit, but don't nobody really know about it, why don't you drop me a line over at melaninmayhempodcast@gmail.com. Guys, I have enjoyed bringing this tale of frauding and scamming to you. Until next week, I want you to stay safe and stay vigilant because they out here. And remember, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Namaste, New World Nation. It's been one love, and we are out.